like the old days, like TV, with a CRT, big old TV, heavy TV, big TV, take up a lot of space and make a big old square on the carpet because it's been sitting there for 10 years and nobody's gonna move that thing because it's just a piece of furniture that was just like you leave it with the house when you leave. You sell your house and your TV's still there, the same old TV, same technology for like 75 years, the old TV, so you can get all the live broadcasts, find out what you need to know about things that have nothing to do with you, just like this broadcast right here. I know that you ain't got time, you ain't got no time, don't look. I know you ain't got time for me today. Ain't got time, you ain't got no time, don't look for time, you ain't gonna find it. So that's what we're talking about today. You can always talk about time. Pretty much everything is about time. Everything is about time. Time. And now I ain't got to waste my time hanging on to this thing. And you know what's funny? That's cool. It says time in the middle of it. Time. We'll have to leave that in there. That's kind of fun. This is a song I made up like yesterday, messing around with this stuff. But I can always turn that off if I don't like it. I learned about time in the elementary school. Show up for time, so you play it cool. You're supposed to work on your books and work on your stuff. I think I had about enough of learning about time. Time. We learning about time. All I know is I ain't got time, I ain't got no time. Don't look for time, or you ain't gonna find him. Ain't got time, you ain't got no time. Don't look for time, cause you ain't gonna find him. Anyways, yo, so what I got going on here is MPC 1 by Kai with the version 3.0, and I got the Boss RC505 Mark II loop station, the Arturia Keylab Essential 49. And a friend of mine dropped this mic off at here, the Shure SMB7, something like that. What is that called? SM7B. And I got some nice headphones that was also donated to the efforts. I have some people that I'm trying to get this stuff ready. You know, this is just an environment, workstation environment, so you can make music, right? And this loop station takes a lot of learning, so I'm spending time. Just gotta spend time with it, right? So you gotta spend a lot of time with this stuff to get used to it, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of things that can go right, and you gotta like figure it all out and learn it so you can forget it, and then it's just fun. Like I could just stay here and mess around and just be totally happy. Ain't nobody watching, I don't think. Yeah, that's probably because Facebook's like, Matt, you've been doing this 3 or 4 times a day, because I just love it, you know. Hard to find something that you like in life, right? You know, most of us just want to be distracted from the space vacuum of life. But really, like, that's why we have rituals. Rituals are things that take up your time and space. They don't give you a chance to, like, worry. So, like, rituals, it's easy to make rituals. Rituals are time-based practice. Like, it's easy to make rituals. I mean, they almost just happen on their own, you know, because you got to do so many things in the day, and the best way to do it is to organize it into time spaces. And so you're like, okay, this is what I do this time, this is what I do this place, and you're just like, it's better if we just do it the same way every time, every day, so you can actually get the stuff done that you got to get done and live a better life, you know. So, like, the other side of that is if you don't do those things, you're gonna feel crazy and stressed out. So, like, if you're kind of like a free spirit, and you don't have a lot of that structure and a lot of that material to have to upkeep, you know, it's almost like you got to fill it with something. And that's why they say, you know, man would have created religion anyways, no matter what the cosmic conditions were, because it's inside of our head. We need to fill all of those voids. We need to fill all those questions with answers, or with some kind of ritual that makes us feel better about the questions. Well, for me, you know, music does it. Music is my religion. It's my entire thing anymore. But this isn't just about music. It's about light, video. It's about the visual happenings too. It's all important. As my friend once told me, it all matters. It's all important. Even the things that don't make sense, those are also important, right? And we're just gonna stop. So I tried to do a broadcast earlier today, and it was like 20 minutes of intense performance, and the sound was completely off, and I'm pretty sure I deleted it. I hope I did, yeah. So, you know, hopefully things will just be smooth from now on, as long as I have this table, as long as I can use this table, and this window, and this floor, and this ceiling, and this wall behind me, and all the other walls that are keeping this space comfortable and safe and secure and air-conditioned. As long as I have all of those things, then I can sit in this chair and interact with these amazing devices and create a relationship with these that produces something creative that I can share. Just throw out there to, you know, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't like TikTok because it's just another thing that doesn't, it's just, I can't do that many things. Like, I'm used to YouTube, I'm used to Facebook, I'm used to Instagram. And I have a few friends on each of those, you know, just a couple friends on each of those, and that's enough to get me feeling like, yay, you know, cool, I'm sharing this, I'm getting some feedback, you tell me when my sound is off, and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna get scoliosis leaning over like this, but this doesn't. Right now, I need to be right here because I and this microphone. I could probably do this. Anyways, yeah, it's. Make something fresh from scratch. And this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I do. This is what I do. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is erase all the tracks. I don't have this optimally set up yet. This RC505mkii loop station is not optimally set up yet, but it can do a lot of things to customize the buttons to whatever you want to do, whatever your style of looping is. So, that's going to take some time. One of the main things is setting up foot switches, But for now, I'm doing what I can do with using my hands in this. This is made primarily for vocalists. And so, this mic is going through there, and you can route it any kind of way you want to. You can go in, but not go into the tracks if you want to, and just come out and go like through. It's got a little mute button, so I can just if I need to do that, which is useful. But I played a little pool party last night, and I brought this with me, and it was very experimental because I'm playing guitar. You need two hands to play the guitar, and I'm sitting here trying to So I had a foot switch, so I was able to control one of the tracks. There's 5 tracks. I used my foot switch to be able to do a little bit, but I still had some issues. You going somewhere, Mom?
Not yet. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm trying to find a place to see and make a list.
Oh, you need pen and paper probably.
I got it.
Okay, so you can make a list so I can go to the shopping. Go do the shopping. I like Mono Neon. He's got he does videos with him and his grandma like every day. He'll write a song and have his grandma, she's got dementia, have his grandma sing it because she can still do music fine, That's a nice thing about music. It's a very core memory, Messing around with this harpsichord sound. Try to do something different all the time. I try to do something different. I have a very short-term memory. I'm in the moment, in other words. If someone says, hey, play your favorite song, or play something there is no song that I know. There is no song that's my favorite. There's just whatever song I'm working on right now. And everything outside of that is improvisation and sounds and relationships to sounds. See, I've never played that before, ever. And that's just a sound that popped into my head, and it's some song that I've heard somewhere, I don't have songs ready that I just do. I have 3 songs actually that I can just do. And it's they just get rutted into my brain because I'm so uncomfortable with having a large ready repertoire. Because I don't like to sit down and spend time going over the same songs all the time. I must say, I miss that when I'm performing because I'm gee, I wish I knew a song right now that I didn't have to be stressed out about, because then when I'm performing out, in a way it's more for them and not for me. And I'm I don't practice for you. Most of the time I'm trying to get these wires in the right place and the knobs in the right place, So what key am I in? D minor, so I gotta go to a B flat. Oh God, now I forget where I am. Up. And then you go. I want to do like an A minor, I think. That was a B. I love the relationships of it's like this friend of mine back in the coffee house days, he played chess and he would beat me because I'm really bad at chess. And I'm like, so what's your secret? Like, how are you so good at chess? And he's like, well, I think of each piece as, I think my camera it'll turn back on in a second. Thankfully, because I have Magic Lantern installed on it, and it just helps the camera work so much better. And he's like, I think of each piece as, being alive and having like a will of its own, right? And having a dynamic relationship with the other pieces. And I look back at that, and it's very much the way we look at, music as musicians. Look at music, some musicians. You let the music have a life of its own, and it's like if you have a dog, you kind of assume how intelligent that dog is. And the more intelligent you allow it to be, the more you're going to see its intelligence, and the richer your relationship is going to be with that. But first you have to believe in it. That's the big thing, is believing. You have imagination, you have belief, and you have like open-mindedness and closed-mindedness, and like a lot to think about if you want to think about it. You don't have to think about it, but Let's do like a messing around with these Middle Eastern sounds. Like I think this one's, I like this one better. It's an interesting scale for those of you musicians who are listening. Let's play with that. I almost wanted to do a harmonic. So that's pretty cool. Like in the Baroque days, there was a minor scale that. Are you still looking for a pen and paper, Mom?
No, I'm looking for my list.
You have a list?
Yeah.
You
I wrote it a couple months ago.
Oh, make a new one. So it's like, all right, I gotta concentrate. So it's like these. I love getting deep into shamanism with music. Mom's walking back and forth looking for something. I like this harpsichord sound. What I learned about music just intuitively from listening to shamanistic music, like some of the oldest recordings, is it's hard to put into words. But you see how this sounds just very settled. So that's kind of like your bass trance. You hear it like in Indian music. And then from there, it's like a mellow little surface of water. But it's got just a bit of ripples in it, okay? You know what I mean? Like, it's a little disturbed. And you can hear potential, so suspense. Like, kinetic potential. But that's the thing, like, you gotta be in a trance state to access this stuff. Which, I think in the Western world is kind of considered alternative. But everybody has a brain, and every brain can do it, you know. So with the shamanistic uses music to communicate with the deeper mind, basically. Just it's you could call it medicine. That's basically what it is. So they would come up with these, like the medicine man or whatever you want to call him, would come up with these melodies just vocally, and it might start like this. Okay, and then it would do another verse. It might do something like this. You know, whatever, just add a different note. Go up and down, but basically, or it might be. See how that's a story? And you got what this is character development. And then something happens. Go back to this. Do a little something else. It's funny how the harpsichord sounds like a sitar. I should find a sitar sample. That might be like a lot of fun. So like the specific notes that like the shamans that I listened to would use would be, you know, like your bass note, your tonic, or whatever you want to call that, tonal center, and then go down a fifth, and then up like a, sometimes like that. And basically what those are like overtones from the flutes, one of the first instruments. Like flutes and other wind instruments that you could produce overtones, partials and overtones with, you know. So, you know, so that's the first music that people heard. And so So like, I think the overtones are something like, so if it's like, something like that, right? Which is interesting because like that arrangement is one of the most beautiful sounds to the ear as far as simple harmonics go, simple harmony. I'm going to try the piano sound for that. Let me see if it's working. Yeah, so that's a 1, 5, 3, but the 3 is an octave. Instead of the 3 being, you raise it an octave. And the interesting thing is, this is also based on Pythagorean historic music. It's not even a fact for sure if Pythagoras lived, you know, or if it's just a name we had to give to an idea that was carried over from the previous. Why isn't that note working? Is that as low as this goes? That was weird. Or if it's like a Buddha or you know, like a character that we had to create in order to give a face to an idea that was carried over maybe before pre-antediluvian, like before some kind of thing destroyed most of the history, oral history, or whatever, you know. And so maybe a monastery or a temple or a library was destroyed. And so we're like, well, how do we recreate that knowledge and the relationship that it has to the people? And one of the most efficient ways of doing that was to create a person that you could tag all of these attributes to and lessons, because it gives it social credit. It's like the lessons on them stand alone just fine on their own. But to the uninitiated, you have to give it social credit. You have to give it a prophet or a deity, because it gives it cohesivity and it glues it together, makes it easy. There's that note again. You know what? Let me look in my system. I think that note got turned down. This might be interesting. It's not triggering. Sorry, I have to do this. It's weird. Hang on. Okay, so it's not my keyboard. It's actually something in the sample itself. So I'm hitting it directly and it's not showing up. So the level is up. And go in the sample and look at what sample it's triggering. It's triggering a sample. Huh. The level is up. It's really weird. It's my F. No, it's not. It's my B. All right. Key group. It's assigned. See, this is the kind of stuff I have to do all day long to keep this stuff working. So I'll just remember that it's middle B, and I'll come back to it and mess around with it later. I'm gonna change to like my ooh, Ooh, everything is super loud. Anyways, we kind of got off on a crazy little thing. But that's my brain. That's just what I think about all the time, right? When I'm thinking about music, and people sometimes will ask me about music theory or jazz theory, or, ooh, how do you do that? Ooh, what's all that about? It's a weird sounding keyboard. It's nice because it's in stereo, but I guess I just gotta get used to it. I don't think I have any effects on there. See, I'm probably gonna do a live thing to YouTube right now, like, because YouTube shows this to everybody when I go live, like, potentially, I guess, and just the more I do it, the better. Facebook, I'm only gonna have like one person watching like that, like I do now, which is fine because I'm not doing anything special, that's for sure. And then you got to keep doing it over and over until you do. But this is the stuff I like, and that's all I'm ever gonna do is just stuff I like. Everything's working pretty good now, I think. You never know till you upload it and stuff. So I'm feeling mellow today, and I'm loving having a fan on me because I have to try to stay cool, you know. I'm gonna force myself to do a loop. That's an interesting way to start a loop, okay? I've been starting from the top down. So like an upper, this is kind of a middle sounding. It should have been higher probably. So I can double that. This will be fun. And using polyrhythms. Alright, that's cool. I'm just doing these on the same channel, right? Playing around, getting the feel. Okay, it's like clustering all of these ideas together. This is like what I'm having, this is how I like doing this. Yeah, so, what kind of sounds are these right now? These are like percussive, melodic sounds. They're mostly short sounds, but they have a lot of attack in the beginning, so they're percussive sounds, okay? Although I don't have any atonal percussion in here yet, which atonal percussion is what we're used to, like drums, like, and it's best not to rely too much on those. Something smells good. Smells good over there. So, you have to go slow with this. You have to take your time with this stuff, because you have to feel it. And what happens is you listen, and your mind is going to try to make sense of it, you know, and you're going to start hearing things because your brain's going to try to see faces in the clouds. I'm already hearing like a few different things, but I'm trying not to just jump into it, right? I'm trying to be creative and think differently. So this is like a 6-8, but I don't want to think too much about that. It's better to be direct. Indirect is using your mind, your brain, like your thoughts. Indirect is thinking. Direct is just doing, just being, just doing. And you have to practice to know what that means, you know? It's just basically not thinking too much. Like, it's in 6-8. The phrase is this long. It's in this key. I only have this much time to work on it. You know, I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. Unless I'm teaching someone, right? And then which kind of defeats the purpose. But this is all on one channel. I've got 5, and this is all on one, so I can just stop it, or I can play around with it. Okay. So, the nice thing about percussive instruments is generally one instrument isn't gonna take up a lot of space, but these bells, it definitely does, because it rings for a long time and it has a middle sound. So you can play them really high though, and not a lot of instruments are using that space. So that's one way to use, like, this bell. And certain instruments have more tonal qualities than others, and they take up more space. And when you're building, you have to have a sense of that, right? So. But then there's also the emotion that's going on with this. So this sounds like something you would hear on kind of like a news channel, because it's the emotion that it's giving you is like, I don't know, you know, things might not be okay. You might not know what's going on, so you better tune in, because But you wouldn't hear this on, like, your morning news, your morning local news. This is more like national news, right? This is of grave world consequences, you know. If I have any, yeah. I use my moldy bread. I don't know if I have any left. It's okay, either one. So I was listening to the, you know, different news broadcasts. It's usually, that's fine. It's usually like update, urgent report, and very intellectual, like, we are the intellectual authorities on world current events and things like that. That's what this sounds like to me. So, but if you add stuff to it, it just becomes a facet or a module or a little box in the greater drama. It's just that, like, these news places will be like, that's their only theme song, and they'll just play it for 10 seconds or 5 seconds, right? Or they'll play it while they're tickering a little message or something. Like, they'll show video footage of a thing, and then it'll just be text that says what's happening or whatever, and then you have something like this going on. So I'm enjoying that idea and learning and developing my own relationship with that macro of sound. So where would we go from here? Let's just play around, you know. Don't forget play around. Play is when you take what you learned and you just let it flow. Like, in a flow state, that's basically play. But you also have to work hard to get those lessons and those skills to where you can then put them into the flow state, right? That's why I'm so happy. That's why I feel so good. So the volume of the tambourine now. Tambourine is a very brash instrument. Yeah, so I'll just put it really low. You don't really need it. But the thing is, an instrument like that is, say, you don't practically need it in order to establish time, but that instrument is now layered on top of these other percussive instruments, and it serves a different purpose of qualifying, or giving a qualia of qualifying as, now what does your mind perceive when you hear this little tambourine along with these other percussive instruments? To me, I see someone dancing with bells on their ankles. So that opens up a whole new perspective on this little image that we're painting, you know, this little Bob Ross thing. But that's why I go so slow, because all these things are, everything has so much meaning. I love these sounds though. You know, I kind of searched and spent a little money to get good samples, you know, and the tambourine is just obviously me playing it, so, you know, I don't have to buy all the samples, and it's really fun to create your own. It takes extra work, but I'm gonna do that later. I needed this all to help me get started fast, you know. So this could be used just as it is, like I was saying. Let's go ahead and choose a different instrument. And you could play a melody just over this. It's like you don't need drums and bass. But here's a little bass. Everything's super loud today. Hey, that came out pretty good. Okay, now I sense a problem. Is the bass is such an influential instrument over the large arc of the story, that I don't like the fact that this bass line is so short. So I'm just going to immediately I'm going to get rid of that. So now what I feel like I want to do is just wait on the bass. I want to do a longer phrase. So I'm not really sure. I have a warm sound that this one might work. I don't know if this one's gonna. Yeah, I'll go with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that phrase is a little bit longer than the other phrases. Okay. Now I just really want to put some bass down. And I gotta decide, do I want to use acoustic bass? Do I want to use an electric piano note? It might be enough, you know. I might not need all the percussiveness of an upright bass. In this case, that could work. Another thing you can do is play a bass note up higher. More suspense. Top down, right? You don't want to go too low too soon. You can stop the tambourine. See how much I said, like the tambourine has so much. It takes up. It's turned almost all the way down when I had it on, but get rid of that tambourine. We don't need that right now. We can put it in later when we want it to just be like more full on. I like it better with the breaths. It's not too bad. Turn it down. Try harmony. I've already taken up. So now the tambourine seems to mix well with like these lower, the bass. Because the tambourine, like I said, it sounded like it was on a dancer's ankles, and the ankles are at the base. They hold up the entire body. And you can imagine stomping out and establishing like this. I forget. I got the warm sound going. What's that? Thank you. I'll be there in a second. So that's cool. And you can see your little percussive tonal instruments. What is this? I like this. I want to try a higher subdivided vocal. and then you take it away, you know, and then you're like, whoa, wow, you know. So you have these layers. Like if you're looking at a story or a picture, you can, it's like a sunset on a beach. You have the layers of like the waves crashing, and then in front of that you have the sand, and you have the sand dunes, and behind that you have the rest of the ocean, and you have the sky and the clouds and the sun and the colors, gradient colors. And you need all of them to create the whole picture. But when it comes to like music, it's kind of like a movie, because you have all of these living, moving parts, and you can create a movie, and you can create a story that's linear, has a beginning, a middle, and an end, rather than the snapshot. But when you listen to it all together, you can describe it as a snapshot or a painting, you know. Alright, I just want to play around with like a bass, like a real bass. It's gonna be loud. Totally lost, disoriented with my timing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm making so many mistakes. Gotta start over. I got all of this bass line in. I like it. It's not perfect, but sometimes not being perfect is, you just want to leave it, because it creates creativity. It disrupts. So there's a lesson about that too. If you look at a star, you know, like you draw a star, I forget what it's called, but it's a 5-point star. You look at it and it has symmetry. It's what you expect, and it's settled. It's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. And the 5-point star represents a human being, is sacredly what it symbolizes. And it's very settled, and it fits us when you look at it. But if you throw something off balance, it starts to spin, and it starts to move, and it creates change, and it creates disruption, and it gets people's attention, because you sense a problem, you sense uncertainty, and so you have something that's a 7-point star, You skip the 6-point star because 6-point is also very symmetrical. But there's a 7-point star, septagram. And a septagram, pentagram, is the one that we all learn to draw. As a child, we're taught how to draw a pentagram. It's like one of the only sacred geometry things that children are taught. Because it's like, this is you. This star is you. This is what you are going to be for the rest of your life. And we're going to program you around this little mind image. So then you have 7-point stars, which represent magic. And if you look at a 7-point star, you will not feel settled ever. It's impossible to look at a 7-point star. In fact, your mind cannot even see it all at once. Just try it. A septagram. If you can find one and look at it, you'll never be able to actually see. Your brain cannot, is incapable of seeing it all at once. It will make some lines invisible, and it will try to see some lines, and then it'll be like, nope, that's not right, and it'll switch. Because your brain doesn't just necessarily see everything all the time. We all have selective attention. So these different stars, are the 7-point star is the star of magic. And music is the same way. Have you heard of 7/8 music? Well, it's the time signature of magic. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but I mean, there's a lot of truth to this stuff, and it's based on how our brains work. It's not the devil or any of that. As far as I'm settled, as far as I believe, it's just your world. It's the world we live in. It's the world you live in. This is your world, and you live inside of it. This is your body. This is your brain, and you live inside of this, and you're intimately connected to it. I think it makes a lot of sense to try to learn how it works. And it's not easy because, we all learn whatever we grow up learning, whatever we're taught from a child. So, music helps me escape the doom and gloom of mediocrity and like lukewarm. Lukewarm is really bad. I will use it as a reference in the Bible. If you're lukewarm, God will spew you out of his mouth. It's referencing, like, you like drinks that are cold or hot. A lukewarm drink is like, gross. I mean, but what it means is you either live or no, it's not about living. You're either active or you're inactive. When you're in an inactive state, it's a state of meditation, of inactivity. It's like the meditation state. If you're active, you're using your brain, using your mind, but you must use it correctly, or else you're going to be in the lukewarm state, which is you're using your brain, but you're using it wrong, and it's going to create all kinds of problems for you. It's going to create stress, anxiety, and it's going to create the words that you speak and the relationships that you have. So going back to that statement, either be hot or cold. And it doesn't mean to stay hot, stay cold. It means there's a time to be cold and there's a time to be hot. If you're going to use your brain, use it well. If you're going to be at rest, there's a way and there's a time to be at total rest. And what that means is being in the moment. That in the moment You could see that as flow state, you know. But the lukewarm is just jibber jabber, gossip, garbage, and just talking for the sake of talking, you know. And that's going back to needing a distraction constantly. We all need an activity. We all need an activity. We just need an activity. It's the way we are. We need something to look forward to, something to work towards, something to see, a cycle of productivity within. What we don't need is constant distractions, constant babble, constant noise, constant sensationalism, constantly trying to keep up with the news, constantly trying to fix a novel problem that we didn't need in the first place. So this is how we are. This is how our brains work. This is how our bodies work. This is how our relationships work. And there's all these feedback loops of the outside world and the inside world. And as it comes into the inside world, it's like, okay, how am I going to respond to this? Something's happening outside. How am I going to respond to this? That's where we have choice. That's where you have choices. And if we stop and we study, if we get into the cold state, cleanse the mind, refine the mind, helps us to see clearly. Let go of the middle. Let go of the lukewarm stuff. So that all those middle things that you have to do in life, survival, relationships, chores, you know, you're going to do them in a way that are going to cause less crappy problems. You're not going to be sitting there blabbering the whole time and gossiping and needing distractions and needing to creating problems. Let's see what we can do now to create a problem. But life would be boring without creating problems, right? I don't know. Try it. I mean, if you stop creating problems, you stop looking on the news for a problem, you stop going on Facebook for a problem, you stop being sort of like pessimistic in your conversations and not trusting and looking for a problem, looking for something that's wrong all the time. Try it. Try not doing it. Try identifying where you're doing it. Try identifying it and saying, okay, this is scary, but I'm gonna just not look for problems today. That's scary. It's like some people get into the flow state in order to get out of that habitual problem seeking. And that's what I'm in right now. I'm in a flow state. I'm not doing anything right now except talking about it, you know, because it's something that's important to my core being. And I have an issue where it's really hard for me to have friends. Like, you don't need that many friends. You really don't, you know. Like, I don't care that I don't have a bunch of friends. But as far as like the few people that I interact with, you know, like going to a party or that I have to be at because, you know, I agreed to do it and it's my job or whatever, to play music or whatever, I do have a lot of stress doing that. Because not everybody's cool, honestly. And I'm like, yo, if I had a choice, I would not be here. You know? So that's why people have like these things they go to where it's just basically church. Because it's like it has a structure that they've established. They know what to expect. And it's it's a social time is one thing. It's a structured time. It's a time to get out of the middle and to spend time in the cold and in the hot. It's a time to really calm yourself down, spend time with music in the flow state. It's a time for higher learning in the hot state. So, church is like a example of a temple experience, monastery or whatever. And obviously we are temples. We can be. We should be. We really are. Our bodies are temples. And with that, saying that your body is a temple just acknowledges your potential, but not just your potential, but the required level of maintenance that it takes to keep your mind, keep your heart, keep your soul, keep your body healthy. It's a temple, so you have to give it what the temple needs. If you treat your body like a family-sized camping tent, it's not going to be happy. Or yeah, if you just treat it like a house that is void of the high and the low, just a house that's all middle energy, then you're going to suffer. You are a temple. You must. You can try. You can try not to be a temple, but you don't have a choice. You must. You must be the priest, and you must be the monk, the servant, and all of these things. That's what we are. We have to be. We have to be that. And then you get into treacherous, let's say, okay, let's do it. And you get into treacherous territory there because you're bringing your history into this. And it's like you were raised not being a priest, not being divine, not being all of these things. And you're bringing this into the temple, into your temple. And you have to learn, you have to become a disciple, and you have to take a lot of time and a lot of suffering in order to become worthy of temple maintenance. Hopefully before your body gets messed up, your brain gets messed up, it's like you're doing a dive bomb and you have to pull out of it. It's like, oh my gosh, I am this spaceship temple and I'm flying and I need to woo. And that is the end of the talk. It just reminds me of Manly P. Hall and Alan Watts. I like to make fun of Alan Watts. It's a lot of fun. I like to have fun. Sometimes, sometimes I like to just joke around. But I don't listen to any of that stuff anymore. But it's funny because there's more of it out there than ever now. And a lot of it is just this fake AI voice. Alan Watts was super popular. And now there's just AI robots that are using the Alan Watts voice and idioms and all this stuff. And it's just, you can't even find regular Alan Watts stuff anymore. You look for it and it's oh, another AI Alan Watts, another AI video that's 7 hours long. It's who needs to have a 7 hour long Alan Watts? You don't get the his laughter and his wow. And a word just popped into my head. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to look it up. Hang on. It's an interesting word. It wasn't the right word that I wanted, but I looked it up so I could know what it is. Quixotic. Quixotic. Exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical. I haven't heard that word very many times. I could be considered quixotic. So anyways, yay, this was fun. I don't know. It's like, I kind of like it better when no one's watching. It's like, I think at this point, I'm just happy that everything is working. And now I'm learning how to be comfortable. And I'm learning how to answer the question, what do I want to do with, the keyboard and the looper and the whatever, and the camera and the microphone? What do I want to do with that? And I'm going to save this. It's cool because I can just save the loop things as, as my song, as a session or whatever. Wonder what this one is. Hang on. Okay, good. Yeah, we still have this one. I really love this. Yeah, I mean, this is my song that I've written in the last couple of days that I just looped and so this one's like, I don't know, soon I'll have another new song, but like a funky song. Oops. I am just learning how to use this thing, like barely learning how to use this stuff. Like, you can do so much. You can become so smooth with it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, just learned something new. I'm excited. Wow. This is a step up from the other looper I had. You can, like, select the next loop you want to go to, and when the one finishes, it'll go to it. That's crazy. I could do so much with that. Oh my god. Then you can string songs together, or like, and when you're just ready to go to the next one, you can, oh man, this is gonna get so complicated. Like, I feel like I'm gonna just be doing this all day, every day for the rest of my life. Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. All day, every day. I want this to be my job. I want to quit everything else but this. Going back to what I said before, as long as I can find a way to afford to have like shelter and electricity and Wi-Fi and air conditioning. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm comfortable right now with my fan and getting along with my household, with mom. I know this isn't gonna last forever, but I'm just focusing on this summer. And summer's different. Summers are different in Florida. And I usually travel, and I'm probably not going to travel this year. So I'm grateful to have like this stuff here. 'Cause music makes me happy, and I'm usually just like really on edge because I'm not playing music. Music's what I've always had, like since I was 8 years old. It was one of the first things I ever knew in life. So it's good. It's easy for me. It's easy going. And I always played just by myself, like as a child, and going just forever. I would do this, you know, like play with MIDI and pianos, and it's weird. I don't remember having a piano for this one thing, but I had all this MIDI equipment. Maybe I did have a piano. I must have. Someone lent me a JC like 1080 or something like that, like a Roland. I forget what they're called. No, it's like a Roland JV 1080. It's like a double. I think I was like 18 years old. Like a double space rack mount sound module. I remember just like really having fun with that, like composing. I think I just used just the computer. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I used computer, but even without the computer at that time, I had a Yamaha MDF, a little box with a floppy disk drive in it, and you could use it as a sequencer. I don't know where I got it. It's probably expensive, but it was important to me because I wanted to be able to, like, you know, do these sequences, and I'm pretty sure I performed with it. I would bring it with me. I used to perform with a floppy disk. Definitely, I did that. But then there was you know, there were modules that had their own memory and you could save songs in them. Like, the really good cool thing that I loved was the Roland. Oh, what was it called? Maybe it was a Boss. Rhythm Machine, I think it was called. And it was laid out like a guitar fretboard, or like a guitar fretboard. And so I could play all the chords that I knew on guitar, like jazz chords, and I could play them on this thing and play any instrument. And it's like, I could like play piano or whatever, and I instantly knew how to do it because it was already shaped like a guitar, you know, the pads. And so I had a lot of fun with that. It gave me a chance to like really see what these sounds sounded like together as, like, you know, band, like a drums, bass, piano, drums, bass, strings, horns. And that was such a cool little device. This was the Boss Dr. Rhythm, I think it was called. It wasn't just a drum machine. It was like a lot. It could do everything. Just general MIDI. So that's cool. It's funny that I've got Boss here, but then I got into Akai. I had the Korg Electribe for a while when I was younger, and it sounded great, and it was very easy to just be creative with that, and that was a great experience. I didn't have it that long. All my stuff got stolen out of my van. That was when my banjo got stolen, and got it back, and then it got stolen 20 years later, and I got it back again. And here I am. You trim the leaves and the branches of a bush, and it grows back. And sometimes it's good to get rid of stuff, and you can replace it with something better. Wow, I am a lonely person sitting here talking to myself. But honestly, even though I'm talking to myself, like, you don't realize how much fun this is. I love this. I don't know why I like this so much. I guess it makes me feel like, okay, I have the tools I need. I'm just like basking in the toolness of all of this. This thing over here, let me see if you can see this. Yeah. So this is really important piece of equipment for me. This is Behringer Euphoria UMC 1820. It is a USB interface with 8 mic preamps, 8 inputs basically, and they each have their own knob. And there's always hairs on this thing. Or it's probably just hairs in my nose. So each one of these has like your different signal indicators and pad adjustment, gain adjustments, and a knob for your fine tuning your gain. And it also has a very robust monitoring block in here. 2 headphones with independent volume, and you can route all of your channels in different ways. So it's very helpful, and it makes life very happy, very easy. This thing I have here on the floor, it's my MIDI controller that I got somewhat recently, and that's made by Nectar. It's called the Nectar Pacer. It's a MIDI foot controller, and it's a very, very, very good one. It works really well. It's awesome. And I need to set it up for basically this. I can have a setup for this, and then I can have a different program in there for like maybe if I'm just doing a guitar thing. You can program like over 100 different environments, snapshots in there for what you want the controllers to do. Like for this one, I would want to have control over probably all 5 of the tracks in here. I might not even need that many. Maybe just 2. I don't know. But like, especially when you're establishing your loop, like from the beginning, you kind of need to be very precise with the first few initiations and terminations of the loop, because you're establishing because of the way this thing works. The first loop that you do, it fully trusts you to set the timing yourself, unless you have the rhythm going. But you don't really want the rhythm going for cool music, because that sounds like a drum beat just going, Let me go to a different one. Okay. Let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, there's one of your like, there's a rhythm. So this rhythm is designed to only be heard in your headphones because it's annoying. That's called there's a lot. You can do different fills. Do soul. You can do different kits. It's a lot like GarageBand. It really is. It's like a GarageBand drummer in here. But I use that when I'm doing solo guitar looping, I think, because it's like easy. But yeah. So I need my foot controller is set up for the at least 2 of these, so I can just establish those first bits. But then the rest of them will give you freedom to mess up when you push the button, because it has the measures already. Like, it's gonna quantize it to within a measure. Like, if you're in the first half of the measure, it'll assume that you meant like the beginning of the first measure. If you're in the last half of the measure, it might assume that you meant the beginning of the next measure. And you can also set it up to do that stuff. So that's what I got to do with that. Boop. It can also send MIDI notes. You know, if I want to play a note or a chord, you can trigger multiple notes at once with the push of a button. Or if you push the button several times, it'll do something different each time if you tell it to. What you looking at?
You and second how cute you are. That's smart.
I gotta go. I gotta eat. And then probably go to the store. And come back and do some more of this because it's fun. All right, bye-bye.